We begin in Canada, 1994, with Caroline Walker, who receives a damaged photograph of two twin girls in the mail with a written message asking, "You just think you can abandon us here?" along with the return address of Wildberger Hospital, also in Canada. After looking at the picture, Caroline experiences terrible headaches, followed by bouts of insomnia and horrible nightmares when she is able to fall asleep. 2 weeks later, she sets out to investigate the island where Wildberger Hospital is located in search of answers, hoping to find a cure for her new condition. Shortly after entering the seemingly abandoned hospital, which was converted from an enormous mansion, she's struck on the head from behind, knocking her unconscious. She awakens, stripped of all her clothing and fully nude, inside of a private bathroom, submerged in liquid within a bathtub, with a respirator machine tube down her throat. Removing the tube and getting dressed, she realizes there's a bandage over her right eye, which she takes off and is horrified to discover that her eye's been surgically removed. Reapplying the bandage to her wound, she figures out how to unlock the padlock from the bathroom door, allowing her to venture out into the hospital's halls. While exploring, she encounters grotesquely deformed humanoid creatures, with metal weapons and medical equipment grafted to their bodies, who attack her. Running from one such creature, she enters the hospital's basement x-ray room, where she meets an old priest who gives her the Nailer, a modified nail gun to use as a weapon for self-defense against the roaming dangers of the hospital, before advising her to check the library for answers to her questions. Arriving at the library, Caroline finds a portrait of the same twins from the photograph she received, labeled with their names, Anna and Emma, along with a message written in blood, stating that the twins are needed to awaken the devil and that they're being prepared for a surgical operation, leading her to conclude that she needs to find them before it's too late. Encountering the priest again in the dining room, Caroline tells him about the message, and he informs her that the operating room is located in the west wing of the hospital. On her way there, she again finds the priest in the observation room, where she witnesses someone in a large hazmat suit carrying a chandelier with lit candles while walking in circles around a corpse lying on an operating table. When she asks the priest about it, he claims that he doesn't see anything and asserts that she must be hallucinating. However, he then tells her a story about something similar, which took place hundreds of years earlier, with the Tismuit tribe, the native inhabitants of the island, where during a moonless night, their shamans, who were known to have special blood, danced around their dead, resurrecting them. In the operating room, Caroline finds only another creature and a sharp scalpel, which the priest recognizes as belonging in the morgue, causing her to head there in her search for the twins. Moving a refrigerator with a suspicious blood trail underneath it, she discovers a secret passage leading to an experiment room, inside of which another pathway is hidden, which leads to a dungeon with cells containing the skeletal remains of a young child and a VHS video cassette tape labeled Experiment Room, November 15th, 1980. Taking the tape to a meeting room, she places it inside the VHS player there, which displays an image of the experiment room onto a projector screen. Touching the screen, it's revealed to be a portal, and stepping into it, she's transported to the past, inside the experiment room during 1980. Again venturing into the dungeon, Caroline this time finds a little girl, alive and imprisoned within the locked cell, who claims that she's Anna Wildberger, residing in the hospital with her parents, William and Maria, and her sister, Emma, confirming that she's one of the twins in the photograph. She informs Caroline that William is away on a business trip, and Maria has been captured by her grandfather and a group of men in hazmat suits, who also put Anna in the cell. After pouring a bottle of nitric acid on the lock, in order to dissolve the metal over a period of days, Caroline leaves the past and re-enters the present, where she returns to the dungeon, finding the cell door open, with no skeleton inside, and Anna's diary, which confirms that she escaped the cell in the past. Meeting the priest again in the intensive care unit, Caroline learns that Anna's father, William Wildberger, is a doctor there at the Wildberger Hospital, which was formerly the Wildberger Mansion, his family's ancestral home. Asking the priest where she can find William, he directs her to his office, and on the way, she encounters a uniquely grotesque creature that's devouring a human cadaver's face. On seeing Caroline, it screams and lunges at her, hovering off the ground while pursuing her as she runs into William's office. Safe for the moment, she walks farther into the office, discovering William's recently killed body, along with his diary, which reveals that in 1980, he returned from his business trip to find that Anna and Emma were missing, and Maria had developed a severe and mysterious illness, which he then worked to cure for the next 14 years, using hospital patients as test subjects. It was William who knocked Caroline unconscious when she first arrived, assuming she was an intruder, before moving her to and locking her in the bathroom to use as his final test subject, as he believed that his antidote was ready at last. After she escaped, William proceeded to inject the antidote into Maria without the final test, and it succeeded, allowing her to tell him, in her last moment of lucidity, that her father, Noah, kidnapped the twins, just before she died, succumbing to the damage the illness wrought upon her body for all those years. The diary concludes with William's realization that the wine he's been drinking is poisoned, causing his death before he was able to do anything to save himself or the twins. Discovering a hatch in the floor hidden behind a bookshelf, Caroline enters it, climbing down into the pumping room, where she finds the hospital ID card of Bertram Wildberger, William's father and the director of the hospital, who also went missing in 1980. Returning to the hospital's main hall, Caroline uses Bertram's ID to unlock the door to a staircase leading to an underground area below the hospital and proceeds into Bunker 3B. Inside, she finds documentation on the Tismuit tribe explaining that they perform sacrificial rituals using twins, offering their special blood to an underground god so that it could grow and be reborn. She also finds Bertram's diary, which reveals that a section of the underground area was being used as a temple by the Pollock sect, a cult that both Bertram and Noah were members of, which also worshipped and sacrificed twins to the god. These sacrifices caused supernatural phenomena on the island as the god grew larger, also resulting in it emitting an increased amount of radiation, forcing the cultists to wear hazmat suits, which eventually failed to filter the escalating toxicity levels. This led to them developing severe illnesses, which caused them to violently attack anyone who came near them, and also caused their bodies to merge with nearby metallic objects, including the medical equipment being used to treat them, revealing the cultists to be the creatures throughout the hospital and underground. In 1980, Noah and a group of cultists kidnapped Anna and Emma, taking them into the cult's temple, where they prepared them for the sacrificial blood-draining surgical operation. Learning of this, Maria followed after them into the temple, without a hazmat suit, and rescued the girls just before the operation began. In the process, Bertram also showed up, having a change of heart about sacrificing his granddaughters, helped them to escape, and stayed behind to seal the temple entrance, a large vault door, from the inside, preventing the majority of the cultists from chasing after them. Maria and the twins were crossing an old wooden bridge, high above a river, heading to the port of the nearby town in order to escape using a boat, when Noah and the group of cultists showed up to take them back. As they attempted to escape from them again, Emma fell off the bridge into the water below, and was presumed dead, before the other two were captured, with Maria developing her illness due to being exposed to the god's radiation in the temple, and Anna being locked in the dungeon by Noah. Caroline also finds an injectable syringe containing a blue liquid, William's antidote to the radiation illness, taking it with her as she journeys through the mausoleum, where cult sermons were held, before finding another hidden passageway beneath a tomb, and climbing down its ladder into the sewers. She discovers Anna's diary in a sewer storage room, revealing that Anna was trapped down there for years after escaping her dungeon cell, and learning that Noah discovered Emma was alive, causing Anna to burn her own eyes out in order to prevent him from unsealing the nearby temple's vault door, which requires both twins to reopen, as the door's mechanism has two separate retinal scanners which must be activated simultaneously. Finding a pendant necklace that belonged to the twins, she takes it to their old room back in the hospital, where she places it into a device on the wall, which opens a passage to a hidden playroom. Inside, she winds up an old music box and recognizes the song it plays from her childhood, triggering an intense recollection of her repressed memory, causing her to realize that she is Emma Wildberger, the twin who fell off the bridge into the river's water 14 years earlier, resulting in her amnesia and subsequent condition after seeing the picture of the twins in the mail. Returning to William's office, Caroline finds another VHS tape, recently recorded, which she uses to again travel back in time, arriving in the bathroom where she originally woke up and seeing herself unconscious in the bathtub. Realizing that her eyes are identical to Anna's, she uses the sharp scalpel found earlier to surgically remove her own right eye, returns to the present, attaches it to a fishing hook on a line, hangs it from one of the temple vault door's retinal scanners, and stands in front of the other one, unlocking and opening the entrance. Shortly after, the priest reappears, who Caroline now recognizes from her childhood memories as her grandfather, Noah, and realizes that he was the one who mailed her the picture, luring her back in order to open the temple entrance and finally complete the blood sacrifice ritual. Noah also reveals that he killed William, as Noah had no further use for him, now that William's radiation illness antidote has been completed, allowing Noah to use it on himself. Noah descends into the temple, and Caroline chases after him, seeking to learn what happened to Anna, and finally arrives at the ritual preparation room, where she finds Noah, along with the uniquely grotesque creature she encountered earlier, imprisoned in metal shackles. Noah reveals that the creature is Anna, deformed by the radiation illness, and that he's preparing her for the blood sacrifice before he summons cultists to capture Caroline. After defeating them, Caroline injects the radiation illness antidote into Anna, who reverts to her human form just before dying. Following after Noah, Caroline takes an elevator down into the deepest recesses of the temple, passing through a graveyard and into the slaughter room where the god resides. There, Noah slits his wrists and drains his own blood into the offering altar, sacrificing himself in a desperate last-ditch effort to revive the god, causing it to be reborn in an imperfect state. After a fierce battle, Caroline manages to defeat the god, violently killing it before escaping back into the hospital, where she again uses the experiment room VHS tape to travel back to 1980, when Anna was still a child locked in the dungeon cell. Armed this time with a pair of bolt cutters, Caroline cuts the chain attached to the lock, freeing Anna and returning with her to the present, before the two escape the hospital together.